All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Demo Day of Batch 7. My name is Bastian. I lead the CV Labs Accelerator from the investment side, and it's a big pleasure to guide you through today's Demo Day. So we will give you a quick introduction to CVVC and CV Labs, a brief overview of the CV Labs Accelerator, and some unique insights into Batch 7. And then obviously we're going to have our main session, which is going to be the 3-minute pitches of our portfolio companies of the current cohort. So without further ado, I would like to hand over to Olaf, our co-founder of CVVC, and Lucas to give you a brief introduction to CVVC and CV Labs.
Thank you, Bastian. Hi, everyone. And welcome also from our side. Quick words on CVVC and CV Labs. In terms of our investment activity, in total, to date, we've done 75 investments in startups building on Web3 and building with blockchain, of which 55 have come through our acceleration program, and you'll see batch 7 today, and 20 are what we call direct investments, i.e. investments in startups that are a bit further developed, where we participate through their normal fundraising rounds.
We have 2 pillars on how we invest. Twice a year, we run an acceleration program with checks of usually $150K US. It's a 10-week program. Yannis will then elaborate afterwards briefly a bit more on the program. The second main pillar is, as Olaf pointed out, direct investments, where we typically come in at seed, pre-series A round. And both those vehicles will then, the best startups that we have, receive follow-on investments.
What are the areas that we focus on in our investments? Essentially 3 broad categories. One is blockchain applications and infrastructures, obviously driving Web3 and making it more efficient and finding real-world applications. The second pillar is that we believe that the world as we know it will be digitized, and assets will be digitized, and then you need service providers for such a functional digital asset ecosystem. And lastly, big word, tech confluence. We believe that blockchain will be a catalyst technology for a lot of other tech and social megatrends. So blockchain technology driving AI and vice versa, controlling AI, consumers' need for data ownership and owning data is another example, and that is an additional focus area for us.
We have 2 funds where we invest in startups. On one hand, we have a micro fund focused on African startup and African diaspora. And our main fund, which is the Global T4T Fund 2, that stands for Technology for Tomorrow Funds. We invest solely in Web3, crypto and blockchain projects. And for both these funds, we are currently raising funds. So if you're looking to help back the next wave of founders, both from the crypto valley as well as on a global basis, coming from Web3, that would be a great opportunity to participate in startups similar to what we have today. We have an amazing deal flow coming from all kinds of activities. And so far, as Olaf mentioned, we had the pleasure to work with 75 founding teams and counting.
So I think that with that, without further ado, we can hand over to Yannis, who heads the acceleration program, who will tell you a little more about what we actually do with the startups during the accelerator program. Yannis, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much for the introduction, Olaf, Lucas. So yeah, I'll just take 1 or 2 minutes to share a bit with you why we are here today and what happened in the last 10 weeks. So our program is now running for the 7th time, and throughout this last iterations, we changed a bit the format and the structure, how we run it, and where we are right now is a hybrid version of a program. So we still believe in in-person components in the program, meaning we fly all our participants for 2 weeks here to Switzerland, where we first of all connect to them, but also they let them connect amongst each other and most importantly, leverage our local crypto valley ecosystem. So as you might know, we are based here out of Zug, and Zug has been a very, very important backbone for the crypto industry through its foundation setups and so forth. And yeah, so in the bootcamp, we really try to make use of this, connect them to our partners, and then basically transition into the remote part of the program. So the second and third part of the program then, which we'd like to call Block 1 and Block 2, are fully remote, where we have on a weekly basis a variety of workshops, which are run by our amazing expert network and ourselves, of course. And in the first block, we focus mainly on the tech development and the product development, where we have, which I will show you later, a list of amazing partners who contribute to that. The second part of the remote blocks is then fully focused on the go-to-market strategy, marketing, PR, and branding. Similar concept, whereas during this time, we already work closely with the projects to prepare them for demo day, so the pitches that you will see today. And then, of course, this today is the wrap-up, not, of course, of our relation with the startups, but of the program, where you will see 3-minute pitches from our amazing cohort, and then have the opportunity to engage with them. So to wrap things up, I want to say a big thanks to all of our partners that contribute to the program through workshops, expertise, mentorship, and so forth. Big thanks. And also a big shout out to our 9 amazing mentors who contribute time on a weekly basis to support our projects and any questions that might lie in their expertise. So big thanks. Without you, this was made possible. And now I want to hand the word back to Bastian, who will give you some more insights into our cohort, but also into our application stats.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Janis. You know, if you run an acceleration program, I think it's always interesting to get all the insights, because you also get a lot of application and you see what's being built on a pre-seed stage. So we also obviously drew some statistics on the overall builder activity. And so what we saw is that a lot of projects were still building within the DeFi and the blockchain infrastructure realm. So if you go into DeFi, we still see a lot of projects building in the payment, lending space, blockchain infra, still a lot of new L1s, L2s. But I think what's interesting to see is that we've seen more use cases when it comes to social networks. This has definitely increased. And also, if you look at our numbers, I think what's interesting to see is that they're quite similar to, for instance, the stats from A16Z and their State of Crypto report. But if you want to learn more about the current trends and what's going to happen in 2025, or what acceleration programs overall have been investing in the second half of 2024, we just published a blog post around this. Now, if you go a little bit deeper into the actual L1s where people are building on, what we've seen is Ethereum has declined slightly, but also other L1s have emerged, especially Solana, but also some older L1s such as Cardano, but also the newer ones such as Aptos have gained a little bit more traction from our insights. Now, if we dive deeper into the L2 scaling solutions of Ethereum, what we've seen that's also aligned with other statistics is that Polygon has actually declined over the years, and we have new emerging L2s such as Base Optimism or Arbitrum. If you look more into the geographies of our applications, obviously our main investment focus is on Europe, Africa, and North America. This is also where most of the applications come from. But I think what's interesting to see here is that we've got more applications from North America. So if you look at other programs in the US, for them it actually declined slightly, whereas for us it increased, partially probably because of regulatory uncertainty in the US. But who knows, that might change in the next year. So we started our program, as Janis has mentioned, with the bootcamp, where we invite all the portfolio companies to come to Zug, Switzerland. We meet them in person. They actually meet each other in person. And also we're gonna introduce them to the broader ecosystem that we built up here. For instance, we had workshops with Solana, Polkadot, Cosmos, etc., etc. And what you can see here in the right picture is, for instance, a meeting together with the Interchain Foundation. Yes. And so the second week actually comprised of our CV Summit, where we have one of the biggest blockchain conferences here in Switzerland. And so we celebrated the 10 years Ethereum Foundation, where we invited the co-founders, and obviously we also brought our portfolio companies on stage. And speaking of bringing them on stage, obviously today we close with our demo day, where we are gonna present you 9 companies. And if you want to get connected with them, make sure to scan the QR code, fill in the type form, because we're gonna have 9 projects pitching 3 minutes each, followed by a 2-minute Q&A session from our jury. And so our jury comprises Tim from Lightspeed Faction, Dimitri from Archetype, Kerstin from HV Capital, and Austin from Dragonfly. So they're going to be able to unmute themselves after each pitch and ask one or the other question. So the way we're going to structure demo day is that we're going to start from chain abstraction, account abstraction. We're going to go into CK and AI, and then we finish it up with payments and DeFi. So without further ado, the first pitch is going to be from Mycel in the chain abstraction realm, and they're doing transferable accounts. So Taro, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to share. Just let me know if you can see this.
Yep, that works.
All right, good to go. All right. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tara. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Mycel. And at Mycel, our goal is to create the most cost-effective cross-chain swap system by utilizing a generalized mechanism of transferring account ownership. Sharing with you a quick snapshot of the traction that we've been able to garner thus far, with spotlights around our angel investor, namely Adrian over at Anoma, Ismail at Celestia, Scott Moore at Gitcoin, as well as obviously the team over at CVVC. So cross-chain swaps remain a significant challenge across blockchains ecosystems evolve. Centralized exchanges, they offer they offer low latency, but requires a trust in a single party. While decentralized exchanges are trustless, yet often cumbersome and complex. So the current cross-chain solution, such as bridges as well as wrap tokens, are slow, reliant on specific cryptographic standards, ecosystem dependent. We see themselves as being inefficient and costly and creating a lot of barriers for all. We believe at Mycel that there's a better way to improve cross-chain interoperability without the barriers that exist today. And at Mycel, we've developed a generalized mechanism for transferring account ownership, a novel approach that eliminates many of the inefficiencies in current cross-chain swap systems. And with Mycel, users can transfer, manage, and trade accounts across multiple blockchain platforms. The key difference is that we aren't transferring the assets themselves. Instead, we're transferring the ownership of accounts, allowing assets to stay where they are on the blockchain, but enabling seamless interactions between them. This mechanism reduces latency, minimizes costs, and most importantly, opens up an entirely new range of possibilities for decentralized exchanges, NFT marketplace, and other blockchain applications. Furthermore, we're not confined to transferring individual assets. The entire account, which holds multiple assets, is now able to be exchanged. Within the intent ecosystem, numerous projects are developing the foundational frameworks that enable intents to function effectively. Mycel operates as an infrastructure layer within this ecosystem, designed to facilitate and expand intent-based asset transfers generically across multiple blockchain networks. We are working closely with Anoma, whose intent execution machine is particularly well suited for our vision. Very simply explained, here are 4 steps that takes you behind the scenes of how this actually works. Alice places an order or intent into a front end, whether that be a DEX or anything else that sits at the front end of an application. Alice deposits, let's say, TON into a temporary account. The solver confirms Alice's assets are locked, verifies transaction hash, and then solves the intent. Solver then sends the desired asset, if that was ETH, back to an address specified by Alice. That was very simply put what we're trying to build in the functionality as a whole. Here's a snapshot of our current roadmap. We're currently in the stage of running our testnet until December 2024, and we expect our launch of mainnet roughly in mid-2025. Our team is led by blockchain veterans all coming out of Japan, starting with our CEO Yossi, our CTO Aki, myself, and CMO Kohei, and we bring extensive experience in blockchain development, ecosystem building, as well as community building as well. We're building an infrastructure for decentralized futures where our cross-chain interaction is no longer a bottleneck, but a seamless and effortless process. And at Mycel, we're empowering developers, traders, and users to unlock new possibilities by transferring account ownership across blockchains. So we invite you to join us in this journey. We are currently in the stage of seed round right now. We'd love to talk to any VCs that are out there that are interested in joining with this round as a whole. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Taro. Now we're going to have 2 minutes for our VCs to unmute themselves and ask one or the other question.
Cool. Great stuff, Taro. A quick one on my side. How does account ownership work under the hood? So does the chain act like an MPC network, or am I misunderstanding?
So the way that we would work is the fact, for example, if Alice wants to go and create a temporary account, this temporary account is using Frost as the main mechanism. And within it is the validators as well as Alice together that are both the creators for this. Validators obviously bringing together the private keys, and then Alice and both the validators both are the co-owners of the temporary account. But the only individual that has permission within a temporary account is technically Alice. So Alice is the only individual that can withdraw and deposit assets. The validators act as the signers for the temporary account. So this is how we are facilitating the temporary account.
Gotcha. Thank you. Awesome.
Hey, Taro. Quick question from me. Why does this help in an intense-based architecture? Why can't you just have individual tokens held in individual accounts rather than trading ownership of the entire account itself?
I think that when you are working within the intent space, right now, there's a couple of issues within, obviously, how intents would be processed. First and foremost is the intent flow, and going out and finding intent flow is one of the biggest challenges that we're seeing in itself. The second piece is as well is a lot of the intent ecosystems right now are building underneath a lot of the Ethereum ecosystems as a whole. Intents are meant to be a way for individuals to interact generically across multiple different types of ecosystems, and we don't see that at the current moment. This is where Mycel has put a different approach to where we want to approach this, saying, well, look, we're not confined with the Ethereum ecosystem. If you want to bring assets across Bitcoin, if you want to bring assets across Sui or Aptos that are not necessarily within the EVM ecosystem in itself, this is where we function together with Anoma. And that's why we've been partnering with Anoma to be able to provide that flexibility of doing not just singular, but multiple token or multiple assets swapping between multiple different ecosystems.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Taro. That was it for the Q&A session. So we got to move on. So obviously, chain abstraction important to make UX improvements, also with intents. So the next project we're hearing is Picnic, and they're going to show you what nice UX for Web2 users in DeFi looks like. Joao, please, the stage is yours.
Great. Thank you, Bastian. Hey, everyone. Great to be here. So Picnic is really about making DeFi accessible to Web2 users. Today, DeFi is quite technical and inaccessible to most users. So the average user that gets into DeFi spends a few hours, days, or weeks just to understand how the mechanics work. And what we're building is basically really good UX taught to the very last detail on how to make that flow accessible to Web2 users. So you log in with email, you do instant and free on and off ramps. This screenshot here, it's an IBAN. So that's actually like a European bank account. If I send money to that bank account, euros, stablecoins are minted directly into my wallet. And once I have the euro stablecoins, I can buy any token I want. I just choose the token I want, and we handle gas and chain and routing. All that complexity is hidden away from the user. That's a new category. It's working super well. This is our growth chart for the year. We're doing almost 300 mil in annualized volumes. We're leading that category. So this is ERC 4337 market share on swap volumes. We are doing 40% of that. So we're bigger than Coinbase Wallet and bigger than basically every other player out there with amazing retention. So retention is higher than every 4337 wallet, basically, and also higher than EOA wallets. So we're super, super bullish on this category. I think it's fundamentally built on new technology. It's on-chain, so it's extremely cheap to build. We built that with only 5 people on the team. It's composable, so we access everything that's on DeFi. So we have almost 5,000 tokens with that very small team, and it's also non-custodial. So we can't be evil. It's no counterparty risk. So those are the three pillars of differentiating with C Forward. And it's a huge market. Now, market is basically divided between centralized exchanges and DeFi. We envision this new category will be the majority of that market, which is still growing. So I think there's huge amounts of opportunity and also very good revenue model. So we're really targeting retail. For reference, retail is only 16% of Coinbase volume, but it's 94% of revenues. So there's where you have a lot of opportunity to capture value. Team, we really believe in this thing of making DeFi accessible to everyday people, like taking this outside of the crypto natives. And we have the key competencies needed to get this thing off the ground. I have a growth background. We have a very strong technical discipline, very strong operational discipline, and very strong design as well. We just raised the seed round, and we're basically looking to build relationships for our Series A. So if anyone's interested in that, I would love to chat and to connect, and happy to send you updates. I believe it will be fundraising in 12 to 18 months.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Joao. So we got another 2 minutes for questions.
Okay, I would like to better understand, Joe, what's your business model? I mean, you mentioned the Series A, which is amazing. So apparently you're already making money. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on this detail.
Okay. Business model now is pretty straightforward. We take fees on swaps. We are also launching a credit card in partnership with Noses Pay, so that we also get some fees there. So basically, it's similar to a centralized exchange. Like every vertical we have, we get some fees on that. So fees on yield, yeah, pretty straightforward. Makes sense? Happy to deep dive if follow up there.
I have sort of a follow-up there. I guess I'm curious, like, how much demand are you seeing for like just access to stable coins for your users versus actual DeFi activities like swapping or yield vaults?
Okay, so like 98% of our volumes are just swaps. So we have some yield on USDC, but that is being phased out at this point. Like we decided to focus on swaps because that's where the volume was coming from. And out of swaps, 2/3 of that volume are stable coins. So it is the cheapest way to send Brazilian real for euros and vice versa, for example. So it's quite cost efficient to use Picnic.
Got it. Thanks.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Joao. So now we had a little bit of account abstraction, chain abstraction, and DeFi. Now we're actually going more into the CK space. So next on is Ponos technology, making first of all CK more scalable, faster, cheaper, to then later on build more applications in the CK space. So Slobodan, stage is yours, and please tell us more about Ponos technology.
Hello, everybody. I hope you can see it well. So the mission of Ponos technology is actually to make zero-knowledge proving affordable and fast. Why this matters is actually because zero-knowledge proof is considered to be enabler of next generation of blockchain, as announced a few weeks ago by Justin Drake at DevCon. Even Ethereum is moving from proof of stake to zero-knowledge proving. The problem with zero-knowledge proofs is they are slow and expensive, especially when computed on general-purpose computing infrastructures. That's why we're coming in with our solution based on hardware software co-design, and we are actually currently having the solutions implemented in FPGAs, but this is very good as a kind of prototyping solution for our final goal, which is development of ASIC-based platform that would enable cutting down the latency to 10 seconds and making proofs costing below 0.1 cents, which would unlock a number of real-time use cases as stated by Justin. So far, we've actually been we implemented the most critical zero-knowledge proof protocol modules like Poseidon hashing and LDEs, We've got they are 2 to 3 times faster than anything else in the market. We managed to have several publications, several grants from leading projects out there, and we are partnering with flagship zero knowledge projects like Polygon, RIS0, Alio, and so on. Even more, we had a project with Bank for International Settlements, a little bit out of the crypto world. This is actually an example of how it works. We implemented an end-to-end solution for Polygon ZK EVM prover. And here you may see from the baseline to the solutions in light blue that are already implemented that we managed to cut latency for 50%. And by the way, we managed to cut cost for almost 80%. This is something that is market ready in production. And by the way, in the next generation of ASIC, we hope to improve these results even further for more than order of magnitude, meeting the goals set by Ethereum Foundation below 10 seconds and below 0.1 cent per proof cost. Market is huge, is expected to be more than 1 billion in 5 years from now. And the main source of proving coming from general purpose flagship projects, but moreover on applications that are using this kind of technologies for specific purposes. And of course, expected to be in 2 years from now, Ethereum, one of main sources of proving. Business model is quite straightforward, it's simple, it's value-based, meaning can be either on per transaction, computation cost, or for instance, license IP. Our product, our chip is going to be to resolve all communication issues that we are having now. It's possible only with ASIC. The best guarantee that we are going to make it is our team that is composed of 14 people, all 8 of them holding PhDs, most of them very senior in this field. And by the way, we have already 20 ASICs produced by the member of our team. It's Swiss-based, by the way. Yeah, so far we burned more than $2 million to build the solutions. Yeah, and currently, yeah, we are raising for the next stage of our solution, meaning in direction of ASIC. I would be glad to take any questions.
All right, Slobodan, thank you so much.
Cool,
Hey,
great
Slobodan.
stuff. I think costs are probably the most important thing to be solved to commercialize ZK. So really cool that you're working on this. I'm curious why you decided to go with FPGAs rather than GPUs initially, considering that many projects seem to be switching to proof systems like GKR, which are quite parallelizable.
That's also, yeah, we managed actually to provide solutions for those 2 models, Poseidon hashing and as well as LD, faster than any GPU solutions that we have at the market. GPUs are good actually for snarks that are using MSM, multi-scalar multiplications, and that's something where they shine. But Starks that our target are post-quantum secure, and the most likely they're going to be chosen by Ethereum. So that's why we focus there, because FPGAs really shine in this spectrum of Starks. The GPUs cannot actually be close to there. And more importantly, FPGAs are kind of half-baked solution to ASIC. ASIC development is prototyped in FPGA, and nothing can compare to ASIC once this ZK protocol is standardized, means we are already halfway there to make it in ASIC, which is a kind of a holy grail when it comes to zero knowledge. Of course, there are other technologies like FHE, MPC, and so on, and most of those solutions are also portable in that direction.
Cool, thank you.
How are you going to bring this to market? Are you going to be targeting sort of ZK individual sort of L2s or ZK chains? Are you going directly to prover markets? What's the approach?
There are actually multiple ways. One is proving markets. We are discussing with Javelut and Fermach and in other proving markets to be a supply layer for them. So that's a kind of easiest way. They have a kind of proving market. So whomever is there, whatever kind of solutions, either GPU, CPU, FPGA, or finally ASIC can compete for proving. So that's one part. Another part is, I may tell you that most of applications like Gateway.fm that is using ZK EVM for proving, or Hashflow that is using RIS0 are now talking to us. And these discussions were brokered through providers like Polygon and ReZero directly, because they are technology providers, while applications are actually source of demand. So this is another way of getting directly to the bypassing any kind of proving market, talking directly to applications and providing infrastructure solutions for them. So there is clearly there is a market request for that, and that's something that, of course, is going to be never-ending competition with the GPUs and other solutions. But once ASIC released, and we hope in 2 to 3, at most 3 years from now, I'm pretty much sure that the competition will be practically over in that sense.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Slobodan.
Thank you.
So another person that has been building in the CK space for a while is Danilo, formerly co-founder of Kakarot CK EVM, and he's now building decentralized data pools. So please, Danilo, tell us a little bit more about Zap Labs.
I was muted, sorry. Can you see my screen? Okay, hey, I'm Danilo from Zap, and the problem...
It's still loading, so maybe you want to try it once again.
1 second. Yeah.
No, it works.
Okay, hey, I'm Danilo from Zap, and one of the problems we're solving is how data is accessible, and one of the big lack of data today is in the AI space. Although that from GPT-3 to 4, we had a big improvement, the latest models have been improving less and less, although we have more computational power. And that's because we are reaching something that is called data wall, and that is the lack of high quality data. So although there is a lack of data, public data, we have abundance of private data. For example, GPT-4 was trained with 1 petabyte of data, but just JP Morgan itself has 150 petabytes of data, which means that if you can tap into this private data, we could accelerate AIs. So what we're building at Zap, we're focusing mostly on the centralized data pool, and we are also now building OX42, which is an implementation of the centralized data pool to help accelerate AI. And we do that by building a platform where we allow decentralized training and the generation of what we call super data, which is annotated high quality data that is proved to improve specific AI models. And what are the centralized data pools? The centralized data pools are basically data pools where the community can contribute with provable data sources such as zk-TLS, ZK email, or even their own SGX signature from their servers. And they can clone this data pool and also monetize this data without losing privacy through blind computation. So here we use techniques such as TEE, MPC, and FHE to allow anyone to use specific data without seeing the data itself. And OX42 is basically an implementation of the centralized data pool on the AI space. And the differentiation of this platform is that we allow the community to collectively train a model while owning the data that they generate to train the model. And they also can contribute with their own private data to a specific model through RAG mechanisms without revealing the data itself. So let's say there's a model for lawyers, and there's a lawyer company, they want to contribute to their model. They can share their data without sacrificing any privacy, but still making the model better. And also we are creating, within all this, we're creating evaluation systems, because we believe that scoring mechanism for each section it will be crucial for us to accelerate AI in specific sections. So today, this is, we have just released today, actually, 2 hours ago, our first collective AI that we are training with the community. And this is a language tutor AI because it's more generic. And just in 2 hours, this was released in WorldCoin Mini app. We are partnering them because we believe that they have a great distribution. We already had 15,000 impressions. If we see now, probably should be around 18,000, and we already had 200 users. So hopefully by the end of the day, we will reach 1,000 users. And other use cases for decentralized data pool, we believe that the financial data segment and medical data is somewhere where Decentralized data pools will be very powerful, but for now, as we are a small team, we are focusing on the AI space. The team is me. I was previously co-founder at Kakarot. Brian, who is a great math and one of the best engineering schools in Brazil, and Daniel and Arthur, who are also from the same school as Brian, which is the top engineering school in Brazil. Right now, we have already raised our pre-seed round. We are aiming for our seed round to be done in Q1 next year, and our current target is for 3 million raise. We might do it a seed round, or depending on the market conditions, we might do a community round. So that's still to be decided. Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Danilo.
Danilo, that's very exciting, very interesting. I'm wondering, what kind of partnerships are you looking for that build on your vision of training AI as a collective? I mean, it sounds like a community play you are looking for.
Yeah, I think here we will need to have experts in specific areas. So for example, for language training, it's a little bit more generic, but if you wanted to train a lawyer in Brazil, we would have to be able to select some experts to help us train the model. So that's something that we are looking for. And also we're looking for partners for teams who are building the AI model. So basically, like, hey, if you want to build a lawyer model and you want to connect other lawyers to help train the model while they keep their ownership of the data they generate, and also they share their proprietary data to make the model better, join us on our platform. So I would say teams who are building AI and experts who would be willing to train specific models. We believe that in the future, like when AI gets good enough, experts will be like the jobs will be taken by the AI, but experts can still come together to build their own AI to compete with the others' AI. So that's, I think, where the future is going.
Cool, thank you.
I'll ask a question too. Curious, like, so, you know, as far as my understanding goes, like all this zk-TLS stuff actually doesn't need to have an on-chain component. Like proof generation is off-chain, obviously, and then like the proving part can be on-chain, but doesn't have to be. Curious, like, how you think, like, you know, what customers will actually care about it being on-chain, maybe none of them, maybe some of them, and how you're prioritizing that in terms of like selling this product to customers.
Yeah, so for the blockchain aspect, we believe that ownership and distribution of value is what we're using for. So when you contribute your data, you will receive tokens, and whenever that data is monetized, you will receive payments. I think that's what blockchain is crucial for. Verification technically could be done off-chain. If you want to be more decentralized, then we could have a verification layer on-chain. But I would say that the big part that blockchain solve is decentralized ownership of an asset and distribution of value.
Cool, makes sense.
All right. Perfect, thank you so much. So we gotta move on to the next project, which is Ubitel. So Marcus is gonna tell us more. Marcus was before leading a team at Ethereum Foundation PSE, so also very much into the same space as the other two co-founders, and now building at Deepin. And so he's going to tell you more about Ubitel.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for that awesome intro, Bastian. Just want to make sure we can see my screen.
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my name is Marcus, and I'm coming to you live from snowy Boulder, Colorado. I have an extensive experience building in crypto, embedded systems, and in telecom. Fun fact, if you're in the US, there's a good chance I wrote some of the firmware that's on your home modem. So everybody needs internet, but there's basically no choice. Can I get a show of hands? Who likes that your ISP, Apple, and the NSA have access to all your records, banking details, and probably even the frisky pictures of your significant other? I don't see any hands. Okay. Furthermore, who's excited that you pay them a premium to do this? You pay them out the ass to do this. Again, absolutely no one. So our thesis is simple. The internet should be a public good, and it's time to disrupt the monopolies behind today's panopticon of surveillance and broken bandwidth economics. And universal basic internet access is the solution. And I'm here to show you how we're building it with Ubitel.
So we're still seeing your...
So the opportunity is huge. we updated? We're good? Second slide? Okay, cool. So the opportunity is huge. DeepIn is going parabolic, and here's the kicker. There's very little market capture and a massive opportunity, especially to break out in the EVM space. So why didn't other DeepIns and DISPs work? They failed to create market efficiencies and footgun themselves. Most critically, they didn't empower subscribers to contribute value back to the network in a meaningful way. So how does Ubitel change this? Ubitel is a DAO-run ISP and secure compute network. For max supply, we enable hosts to monetize excess bandwidth seamlessly. Our network fills coverage gaps, providing global roaming. And on the demand side, we've transformed cell phone data subscriptions in a way that simply wasn't possible before by creating compounding subscriptions on-chain with open data markets and further opening up subscribers to contribute secure compute. No one else is doing this. This is where we're really unique. We leverage secure compute inside of your SIM card to create a TE coprocessor called TPOTS. TPOTS enable subscribers to monetize secure compute at the edge, helping offset their data costs. Think of TPOTS as the fusion of LIP protocol, chain link, threshold, TBTC. Also for the subscriber side, we have a sleek PWA DApp that is live today with coverage in over 190 countries. You can pay in UBI or stablecoins and stay anonymous and secure. Our appless UX makes onboarding effortless. We're the AOL CD of 2024, but this time you get paid. We become the first ISP that pays its subscribers. So here's our hardware. We're a DeepIn company, so of course we have hardware to sell you, but our philosophy is always that you can bring your own device. On the left is TPOT. This is the TE coprocessor we developed that goes in your eSIM, your PSIM, or your home node and enables decentralized secure compute markets. On the right side, we have hardware that expands ISP coverage with a novel device for low-band Wi-Fi called Parrot that enables open bandwidth markets. So unlike Helium or Dawn, we're global across all spectrum, secure on any hardware, and deliver efficient markets with real subscriber-generated value. TLDR, our hardware, software, and economics are better. Here's some of our business models. Our team is cracked. There's oodles of blockchain and tons of hardware experience with great advisors and collaborators. I want to thank you for listening to how we're building the future of the internet with Ubitel. And I'd like to invite all of you to scan the QR code, use our DApp, and take part in the genesis of the network by being one of the first 1,000 users of universal basic income or internet with our airdrop endpoints. We're raising around. We look forward to hearing from you. You can reach out on the link tree on information on this slide. Thank you very much. I'll take questions now.
All right, thank you so much. That was a lot of energy. Thank you, Marcus. So we're gonna have 1 or 2 questions for you.
Nice. Yeah, this is fascinating. I'm trying to understand what you're building. It still didn't like fully land with me. Are you effectively an MVNO that partners with a telco to offer data services on one side outside of the TE network?
Yeah, so for sure. Basically, when there isn't coverage, we have partnerships with MNOs. We're actually an internationally recognized MNO ourselves, and this is where we provide data, so there's no like holes in the coverage. But then there's obviously a bespoke network that people can set up, sort of like Helium, where you get rewarded for providing coverage using your excess internet bandwidth, right? Internet's a marginal good. You're never using 100% of it at all the time, so why not monetize that and put it into the network? But the real kicker is using those SIM cards to create secure compute like LIT protocol does. This enables all of our subscribers to create value for the network and basically get free internet. Is that landing?
Yes.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Marcus. That was a great pitch. Can I ask, what partnerships do you have on the hardware manufacturing side in place, and how do you see that sort of scaling in time?
Yeah, great question. So for the actual TE units, we have tens of thousands, like we have MOQs of tens of thousands of them. I have so many laying around my house. We have partnerships with NXP, who is kind of the predominant smart card manufacturer. We also have partnerships with a couple different Chinese, I guess you could say like intermediary factories, and one in Germany. The cool thing is lots of people in the space use the same chip. So Ledger uses the same chip, Grid Plus uses the same chip. This is pretty ubiquitous. So we don't have a problem with supply or anything like that, especially on the TE side of things. When we move on to talking about like how we're creating more coverage with the radios, that's a little bit more complicated, but we already have prototypes out there, and you can frankly just bring your own as well. So we didn't want to compete head to head with like Ericsson and Nokia and, you know, all these other companies that spent trillions of dollars building something where we can kind of embrace them. But yeah, that's our TLDR.
All right, thank you so much, Marcus. So we gotta move on. Next company is gonna be Reppo Labs. They're not building in CK anymore, or not leveraging CK anymore. They're in the decentralized AI wrong. Although Archie has also got a background in Deepin, working previously for Filecoin and now building Reppo Labs. So Marcus, if you could stop screen sharing, then Archie could pull up his screen.
Sorry.
Awesome. So much. I'll just do this. So okay. Let's see. Cool. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So yeah, let's dive into it. So sorry. Reppo was born while I was scaling Filecoin with my co-founder Harsh. We actually built a bunch of data DAOs to bring off-chain storage provider data, really boring data like retrieval success rates, uptime, energy usage. And we use this data to build really critical machine learning models that are still used on the Filecoin network, including automated deal making and decentralized reputation systems and block reward abuse detection, right? So off-chain data was critical for us. And when we look beyond Filecoin, we learned that this market was massive. Business-owned data is a thing beyond user-owned data, and it's growing at a massive rate. Trillions of gigabytes of data is produced every day, and 65% of this data is actually never used. And so we said, you know what, let's bring all this business data on chain. But when we actually went to these businesses and we said, hey, can we do this data DAO thing? They said no. We got a lot of no's. And so we actually went back to them and said, hey, what if you were able to securely share your data and we were able to give you purpose-built AI models in return? And they said, okay, what's the catch? And we said, well, if someone else is going to build models and agents for you, you become co-owners in the IP. And you have full control to maintain your ownership in the stake, and you can sell that off. And that was really landing with them because that was nailing the business pain point. There's a lot of businesses in the world for whom productionizing AI on-prem is really expensive and hard. A business like Ragent, who is in the business of selling hardware, IoT devices, does not really want to spend time productionizing AI on-prem. And so we solved this by building a purpose-built product suite for secure AI collaboration off-prem, as well as IP co-ownership and co-monetization. The way this works is a business like Ragent sends their data securely off-chain. We use gateway and opacity in this process. An external group of developers cook useful things. They have access to all the infra they will ever need. An IP is derived, listed on the asset marketplace, and customers can transact. And let's actually hear from one of the customers.
I think Reppo would allow hedge fund analysts to digest AI models strictly rather than dealing with idiosyncrasies of the data and automate the data ingestion process. So it would save a lot of time and money for portfolio management teams in hedge funds.
And we're already working with some of the top DPINs and companies today. We're in discussions with Space and Time to integrate in their AI studio. And we're going after the $3.5 trillion DPIN market as our GTM. We're the team. We have an unfair advantage in building for enterprise, having spent over 10 years in this space. And we've raised $800K from Protocol Labs. And we're currently raising our seed round. So I would love to take any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Archie.
So I would like to better understand, how do you differentiate from other co-owned AI initiatives, as there are so many projects nowadays?
Yeah, so I think our main focus is less on what like Virtuals is doing, and the way we're defining co-ownership is at the data generation stage, right? We're trying to unlock proprietary data that is kind of being generated, and so we're building things like the data exchange, where a data owner can list their data, and we're creating an incentive layer in a market for someone to actually buy that data. Because I think the biggest problem today is there's no way to price all this proprietary data, right? I think people are just saying that, oh, we're going to get this data somehow. But, if someone does not know how to price it, I think there's no incentive to really share it, right? And so I think that's the main thing we're targeting, where we think that, everything we're doing and the things we're building is directly relevant, because you can monetize things built on Reppo, on Virtuals, if you want to. We have no problem with that, so.
Got it, thanks.
No. How are you all thinking about privacy?
So I think right now, our kind of approach is we're targeting the pieces that actually matter to the customer. So we're working with Gateway Protocol, and they have something called encrypted data vaults where they can put their data in an encrypted data vault. And then throughout this process, we are fingerprinting, how modelers are using the data and the AI models. So yeah, I think this is kind of like the whole value chain of how things work on Reppo. But I think as the data, there are ways in which the data can never leave if the client, if they wanted to, but I don't think we're there with FHE and some of the technology. So in this case, it does have to leave, but using fingerprinting and kind of having a kind of on-chain footprint every time of the transformations. That's how we're dealing with privacy today. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Archie. So next on stage is Talentir. They're building a distribution technology for the creative industry. Lucas, stage is yours.
Thanks a lot. You hear me and you see the screen? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Lucas, the CEO of Talentir, and today I'm facing a problem that everyone in the industry has, but nobody publicly speaks about it. Crypto advertising, as we know today, is not only broken, it's dead. Paid advertising is the lifeblood of any economy, but in crypto, it's not only not working, it's also forbidden on most platforms. Crypto marketing struggles with trust, and the next thing where you can go is to big influencers and KOLs. But the problem is that also those people have rug pulled their fan bases and are not credible anymore. Of course, bots and farmers are not a community and also therefore not working anymore. The click to earn and inflated numbers on Twitter is still a thing, but it's fading out. But there is a major shift in Web2 advertising. The biggest brands in the industry and the biggest agencies in the industry, they tend to work with many smaller creators instead of a few big ones. And the reason is fairly simple. The campaigns get cheaper and the engagement rises. But there's a huge problem to that. And however, scaling these campaigns across 50, 300, 500, or even thousands of creators is a nightmare. Like payments, contracts, tracking, all of it becomes exponentially harder, and traditional systems can't handle these complexities. But this is where we as a technology provider come in. In the last few months, we have quietly become the most scalable and fastest growing on-chain royalty distribution infrastructure for YouTube and TikTok. We are working with the biggest brands in the industry, and we are live. What you see here is not a meme coin that you missed in the last months. This is our recent traction. We had the growth and managing right now like about 50,000 YouTube videos and creators. And the thing why we're growing is because creators earn more on our platform. We are providing automated rights management system, unlimited split payments, and all the good stuff that was recently not possible in a Web2 world. The best thing about working in a startup that is providing tech and underlying distribution technology is that our tech is also scalable and solving a problem for those agencies I just mentioned. And whether it's 10 creators or 10,000 creators, everything is automated, transparent, on-chain, and super efficient. And the good thing, it's already becoming a little movement, creating FOMO amongst creators that want to earn more, agencies that want to reduce headcounts, and brands like big brands, also like Coinbase, Bitpanda, OKX, coming to us and searching for an opportunity to scale their advertising opportunities. My wonderful co-founder and me, we're coming from the creative industry. And right now, we are not selling you a dream. We have started to build the largest advertising syndicate in the industry and a place for crypto projects to spend 50 billion in 2025. What we can offer you is a distribution business that is also working detached from any bear or bull market. And we're currently raising our seed round, and the last remaining ticket might go to you. And whoever will take the last remaining ticket will be remembered as the one who saved crypto advertising. Thank you.
Awesome. So, perfect, Lucas. We're going to have 1 or 2 questions from our jury for you.
Nice. Great stuff, Lucas. Can you help us understand or maybe like walk us through a payment flow to a creator from a platform and specifically highlight the parts that are different from a traditional Web2 flow?
Sure, I will start, and I have also my co-founder, CTO, here in the chat, who will be like in the tech stuff. So the big problem is that the payment, like YouTube only has one payment destination. So if you have a complex like rights management, if you are multiple creators, if you are a band, like splitting all those rights management, you have to go to a distributor that charges like 20, 50, 30% of your earnings for doing this. And all this is like really manual processes in the Web2 space, and it's basically run on Excel. And now, Johannes, maybe you can take over to go into deep with the tech.
Yes. Very quick answer to this. So I think that the core component is that it's on-chain that makes it scalable. I mean, as you know, the transaction fee on the layer 2s are well below a cent currently, which is super nice for this kind of stuff, because very often you're talking about 50 or 100 euro payout for a creator, and that really becomes a problem with the traditional infrastructure. Like try sending 5,000 SEPA transfers with your bank, and they will not be happy. I think that's the core difference.
Cool, thank you.
So this all makes sense. Can I ask, is there a role for a token in the network that you're building, and what would that role be?
I mean, we're thinking all the time about building a token, but with that specific project, we can like build a project where we can participate in the upside of any token that is like, because any token at some point has to do some marketing and spend some marketing dollars. And of course, we can also emphasize on launching one token and hope it's going to fly. But within this like ecosystem, there's always a possibility, and we have to be evaluative and be strategic about it. But it should be, but it is on the horizon, I would say that.
Cool, perfect. Thank you, Lucas and Johannes, so much. Next, we're actually now going to Africa. So we're going to have Casimani banking Africa's foreign gig workers. So Guguletto, please guide us through Casimani.
Hi, everyone. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. So I'm coming to you from Durban, South Africa. I'm going to tell you about this ecosystem that we have here. So at the moment in South Africa, we've got this crazy problem. There are 23 million workers who've got jobs that they do on a daily basis. 2/3 of those workers are unsalaried. So think yourself of like a hustler who's got a side gig. Think of a content creator on YouTube. Think of an Uber driver. The problem that they face is this: whenever they need credit, the banks that monopolize this market do not give them credit. So people have hacks that they do in order to get this. So for example, if you want to get a loan, you can go to someone who's an informal lender within your community, not just a friend, someone who's known, and they can lend you money at like 50% month-on-month interest. You can form a credit union. This allows you to essentially rotate money amongst each other and be able to do something. For example, Bolt drivers in South Africa actually buy their vehicles using one of these. If you're a foreign national, and South Africa is a more established economy, so a lot of foreign nationals come here to look for jobs. If you're one of those and you need a bank account, it's very hard to get one, to near impossible. So my own brother, who comes from Zimbabwe, we both come from there, had to use my bank account in order for him to get paid. So it's a massive, massive problem. And the way we think of how to solve this is in two ways. The first one, we need to build a bank account where people can come sign up digitally, no need to go to a branch. You get a card that's shipped to you. It's an app that you can use at any point. We've got this live. It's been working since April. The second way we think of this is that we want to embed all these financial tools and products into this application. So that's the second phase that we're currently working on. And we think of it as like a system, an ecosystem where you can do your banking in one place, get your financial tools like a loan or investment all in one place. Over the past year, we partnered with Access Bank, who's one of the biggest banks in Africa. We partnered with MasterCard for us to do all the regulatory requirements for us to launch this. In this year, when we launched, we partnered with an important partner who is Bolt. They have publicly just over 40,000 drivers. That number is much higher from the internals that we know of. And together with these two, what this does is that when you launch a new banking platform in a country or anywhere really, and people don't know about it yet. No one trusts it for them to bank with that platform yet, because it's still new, no one knows about it. So the only way you can do it is to either like advertise quite heavily, which is expensive, or you could do partnerships with platforms that actually have these workers. So this is a strategy that we use in order to acquire our customers. So with this, it also adds border trust. So currently when a person signs up for Gasi, they have to first deposit a small amount, check that the card works, and then over time they can even go to their employer and switch their entire earnings from wherever they have been using into Gasi. But with both, what we've noticed is that drivers switch as instantly as they sign up for us because of this same trust that they have. And the strategy is vital to how we grow. So who else can use Gasi? At the moment, we've got this partnership with Bolt with all these drivers that we want to fuel and grow. In the continent of Africa, there are lots more people, up to 80 million workers who are currently using all sorts of hacks to essentially be able to access credit, to access a bank account, to access a loan. You can think of like content creators, freelancers, farmers, all these people use different hacks to do this. We see ourselves as the new bank of this emerging continent and this emerging workforce of people that can use Gasi, not just for banking, but all the other financial problems. Our business model is also quite simple. So we've got an account fee that we charge. We've got interchange and interest on deposits that we're negotiating with our banking partner. And for the products that we're going to build, we've got embedded financing with all sorts of fees that will be embedded into that. Quite simple to understand. And team-wise, we three have been in the industry for quite a number of years. So I've led teams at Standard Bank and Old Mutual, all in the mobile banking technology space. Tammy over here has grown the sales and channels partnerships at a very big scale up called Yoko. He's got over 5 years in the payments industry. He was crucial in forming that partnership with Bolt. Avi, who's our engineer and CTO, has got over 20 years in the blockchain, banking, and software space and worked for different banks, recently at Citi Bank in Israel. And we are raising a seed round. So we've done all this work with a pre-seed round of up to 400,000 backed by the likes of eSquared, which is a local investor, and CVVC. We're now raising a seed round, the goal is quite simple, to fuel this partnership with Bolt and monopolize and grow with that partnership. And this is who we are. So we're inviting you to join our seed round. We've got quite a big journey ahead of us. Thank you.
All right, Google. Thank you so much. So we have room for one question.
Are you charging the account fee to Bolt, or are you charging it to the user? And I'm curious, like, if it is to the user, why monetize them at that stage rather than just like prioritizing like signups and growth?
So we're charging it to the user for one specific reason. So originally our banking partner allowed us to essentially charge into a pay-as-you-transact model. But as customers were using this, they saw like a high turn in the amount of fees that they were paying. And we're also charging, just to make the point clear, we're charging these fees because our banking partner charges us fees, which we're then passing on to the user. So we're charging fees mainly for that, actually. Yeah.
I see. Okay, thanks.
All right, there are no more questions. Thank you so much, Google. And we're going to move on to the last pitch of today, which is Fija Finance. They're offering compliant access to DeFi for platforms and exchanges.
Yep. Hey, I hope you see my screen. Is that correct?
Not yet.
Good. Yeah, then something goes wrong.
Yeah, it's a black screen.
Yeah, I see indeed. I'm wondering why. Just a second, I'll try again. Yeah, this is much better. Okay, cool, good. Hi, I'm Lieven, a CTO and co-founder of Fija Finance. And in the call, we also have Christoph and Tim, my colleague, co-founders, that will help out with the Q&A later on. Let's have a look at Paul here. Paul is 35 years old. He had some savings and he bought some crypto in 2020. He's in it for the long term. He wants to stick to it. Now, When he compares to traditional finance, if he goes to a traditional bank, he gets lots of options to earn interest or yield on his investments. So he can put his money to a savings account, invest maybe in a fund or some bonds. But on the crypto space, he doesn't get the same opportunities. He doesn't really understand how to earn on his crypto. And Paul is not alone. There's 30 million crypto owners in Europe. 88% would actually like to earn on a crypto, yet only 4% do. Now, why is that? Well, it's still too hard. There are solutions available, but they're typically unregulated, not really trustworthy black boxes. And some solutions also notoriously failed, like Celsius. And then generally, DeFi is just too complicated for a normal guy like Paul. It's too hard to understand. Now, we're Fija Finance, and we're here to solve that. And we want to do so in a compliant, easy, and transparent manner. First of all, compliant. We are compliant with all existing and upcoming European regulations. Secondly, we want to make it very easy. You can keep your crypto in your existing app. We'll integrate with your app. You keep the money where it is. And then thirdly, we're transparent. Everything we do is a smart contract. You are the owner of the funds, not us. How do we do this? Well, actually, we're building a library of yield-generating strategies. Now, these strategies make money by providing liquidity to well-known protocols. These protocols need liquidity to function, and in return, they share a piece of their revenue with us. Depositing funds to the strategy is easy. You deposit your tokens into the strategy, and in return, you get a Fija token. Now, the Fija token is a technical and legal proof of your investment, and you are the only one that gets access to the funds. If you want to step out, no problem. You return your Fija token to the contract. You get your original deposit back alongside with the accumulated yield. Now, from a technology point of view, this is all, of course, complicated, but for a user, we make it extremely simple. We integrate with your existing finance app, don't have to move out. You get an extra option, earn on your crypto, and with one click of a button, you can invest in the Fija strategies. We went live earlier this year with some smaller institutional customers, and we quickly gathered about 1 million assets under management. And we're currently integrating with some mid-sized crypto platforms, which should give us assets under management of about 20 million by the end of Q1 next year. Next up is the integration with bigger platforms, like the Bitpandas and the Trade Republics of this world. And these integrations will give us a possibility to achieve about 400 million euros worth of assets under management by end of 2026. And here's the end game. We believe that traditional finance players will offer crypto yield solutions to their customers. But this is, of course, an extremely regulated market, but it's also very big. It gives us access to a several billion euro market. And we, as a regulated player, from day one, are very well positioned to capture about 2 billion assets under management from that market. Quick look at our revenue model. We have a revenue model, obviously. We take 25% of the yield that the customers make. Very simple and easy. And here's the team. Christoph is our B2B sales expert. We have myself, the techie, there's T, who's making sure our legal frameworks are in place, and Tim is our DeFi expert. But we've achieved a lot. We went live with our first customers, gathered our first AUM. We raised a 1.2 million seed round, so all good there. But looking ahead, we're in for a big game. We are planning a next funding round in the course of 2025 to support our growth towards the 400 million assets under management mark, by bringing in a customer live and by already having 20 million euros assets under management at the moment of the round. Now, if all that sounds interesting, we would love to get in touch. So please subscribe for our newsletter here. You have the QR code, or fill the form from Bastian, obviously, or get in touch with myself here or one of our fellow co-founders. And with that, we're happy to open for Q&A.
Great. Thanks so much. Quick question on my side. What are the next 2 to 3 yield strategies for you that's on your roadmap, and how are you thinking about generally the trade-off between APY and risk?
I think I can take that one. So the next strategy that we're launching is a strategy based on Aave Yield Optimizer that automatically rebalances between Aave pools. And then the strategy after that is going to be a leveraged staking strategy. And the trade-off between risk and yield is, of course, quite important to us. We always see this spectrum where we have those lighthouse strategies with quite high yields. We have a set of strategies based on GMX with a hedging mechanism, which are highly yielding with a higher risk. And then we have like this Aave Yield Optimizer strategy now only based on one protocol on the safer side. And for that, we build our own Fija safety score, where it helps the customers to map out exactly that relation between risk and potential yields.
Just to double click on that, do you mind just walking us through, like in a bit more detail, what the disclosures are around some of these different strategies, and how is this treated from a reg perspective, you know, in the geographies that you're operating in?
Christoph, do you want to take the regulatory part?
Yes. But yeah, I can also do the how we're disclosing about that. So each of those strategy, as Tim mentioned, has a safety score. So we always display at least the APY and the safety score, so for the customer to immediately assess what's in it for me and what's the risk. and then there, for every strategy, there's detailed strategy descriptions. So our partners who then list those tokens or who offer those strategies to their customers can access those strategy descriptions via our backend API, sorry, and then everybody can read up on how the strategies work. So it's very transparent, and the best thing about it is those strategies are immutable, so therefore nobody can change the strategy and the structure of the strategy. Now, on the regulatory perspective, we have several different models how we are offering our product. One is a security token. So it's a registered security with a security prospectus in Liechtenstein. And this is to cater especially to highly regulated institutions, such as MiFID regulated institutions in Europe or banks and investment funds. And then we have a software as a service product where partners can license our smart contracts and then offer that product under their own framework. And third option would be a utility token that we list through a VASP license in Europe.
Awesome, thank you.
Fantastic. Perfect. Thank you so much. That's a wrap. So that was our last company presenting today for the demo day of batch 7. Thank you so much to our jury members. These were awesome questions. I think it's always great to actually ask those questions because you can double down and then also like really get an understanding of what the companies are actually building. So thank you so much. And again, like there's the type form. If you want to get connected to our portfolio companies, make sure to fill this one out. And other than that, that's the end of today's demo day. I wish you all a great Christmas break, and I guess we're gonna see each other soon at the main conferences. So for us, next conference is gonna be the Web3 Hub in Davos during the World Economic Forum. Would be great to see you there. If not, there's gonna be a lot of great crypto conferences coming in February and March. Thank you so much. Have a good one all together.